Hello, this is Super. I'm back with another video. Yeah, new tier, new PF, new year, same me. We're back at it again. Quick things to go over. I'm glad we're not locking out classes. At least so far, I've seen we haven't been locking out any classes. I've been seeing summoners and machinists being able to actually like run around and play the game like that of y'all. Great job. But I've also been seeing a lot of people say that this tier has like been destroying statics and making the like PF's been a lot harder. I'm gonna tell y'all what's going on for real, right? I'm gonna let y'all in on something, right? As someone who plays Destiny, because it happens in Destiny a lot. What's happening, right, is there's probably an actual like term for this. What's happening is the old head effect. All right. Now you might be like, what super? What does that mean? The old head effect is when someone who hasn't played a game in a very long time comes back to that game, and instead of trying to catch themselves up to date with whatever the current meta is or the current gear or whatever, they just don't. They try and play the game like it was being played whenever they stopped playing. And so what ends up happening is they're like, well, I'm playing the game right, not realizing that they're playing the game very wrong and are doing things that are objectively making wasting everyone's time and is making their job incredibly hard. That's why like when people are like, "Oh, my like when people like on Twitter, right? You'll have people that are like, "Yeah, my static blew up because we told our melees that they kind of have to optimize their rotation a little bit." That's an old head effect. I promise you those melees didn't play last tier. Like that's literally all that happened. Was that they were going in there thinking they could still play the same way, thinking they could still bum it up on whatever class they was playing, and they can't, right? Like I'm telling y'all, that's what's happening, right? There are especially melees that have not played since like pre Shadowbringers. They're used to having big hitboxes. They're used to having a lot of like uptime. They're not used to actually having to work around like optimization. So now that Square has made a active effort, and you can tell in the way where it's like there is no free uptime, no easy 2 minutes, no easy 1 minutes. Like you have to work for your rotation. Everybody, right? Now that they've done that, you have a lot of people who originally were like, "Oh, okay, this isn't too bad," who are now like, "Wait, I actually have to know like how to optimize, how to play my class, how to keep my GCD rolling." Like that right there, that's what gets a lot of people. That's what I mean when I say old head effect. It's like there's people who are coming in who have not played the game in a long time and who don't really want to learn how to play the game currently, and so they're just not willing to. That's why your PFs are bad. That's why a lot of statics are blowing up. It's quite literally just because it's like that's it's just old. It's just people who don't want to learn, just being in the system. Um, yeah, but that was the main thing that I wanted to make today's video about because I saw it a lot on Twitter. I wanted to like actually give audio like voice my opinion. Um, the other thing that I have noticed is a lot of people have been struggling with PF in general, right? Like not even like with bat rotations, just in general, like people have been struggling like not being able to prog. And I'm gonna tell you this now, 9 times out of 10, it is because a lot of people who PF like chronic, like they PF a lot, they don't give themselves breaks. They don't ever take a break. They don't ever sit down. Like they might take a break in between like what's it called in between like a party that's banding, but that's not enough. Like I'm talking about like take a break, hop off of Final Fantasy, or do something way more relaxing. Like go outside for like literally like go outside for a walk for like 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and then come back and play the game. Because like or even like just eat and like drink. Like they don't do like just sit there. And I'm telling you what's happening is there's a lot of people who like typically shouldn't be doing that who are doing it and they haven't trained themselves to do it. They don't have the endurance to realistically sit down in PF for like 10 to 5 like pools and actually be consistent. That's why a lot of PFs like are super inconsistent right now. It's because a lot of people who typically don't PF are PFing now because of how many static theft disbanded, and so they don't have that stamina, right? And they don't know like a big reason why you'll see people who are like, oh yeah, my PF experience wasn't that bad. It's probably because they've moderated how they were PFing, right? They might have gone in for one lockout, been like, okay, I did my lockout for today. I'm gonna take a break and I might go back in for like another lockout later, right? Whereas in those people, like I'm gonna go back on that. But those people that like they take their breaks, they tend to have a better time because their brain, like the way they play, is always going to be like fresh. Like okay, we're on the game. They might have a one bad pool, one like okay, let me wake up pool, and then from there on they can play consistently because they give their body time to like take a break, relax, and de-stress itself, right? And regain its energy for the next time they do that. Um, if you want like have an example, like it's hard for me to explain an example. Actually, no, it's not. If you've ever read Shangri-La Frontier, I don't know if they're at this in the anime. So Shangri-La Frontier spoilers. If you want to skip, skip around. I don't know when I'm gonna end it at this point, but just skip around, please, if you don't want to be spoiled on it. But in Shangri-La Frontier, right, one of the big arcs, right, the main character is fighting in a video game, right? This is not Shangri-La Frontier. It's a different video game for a different tournament, right? And the only reason why one of the main reasons why he loses, and like they bring it up, is because is I forgot what they called it. It was like game fatigue or something like that. Like I think they might have just said it, called it fatigue. It's been a very long time since I read that arc, but like that is what I mean. His body quite literally couldn't like his he was pushing his body. He was in the game in the zone for so long that his body was like, okay, you gotta wrap it up. It's time to go home. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. You gotta chill out, right? So that is why that right there, just that like if you take that arc, highly recommend you read the arc to kind of understand more about what I'm saying. But like if you've ever read Shangri-La Frontier, you probably know what I mean, what I'm talking about by now. But just that in general, that idea that you get fatigued, like you can get fatigued from playing video games. There comes a point where you've played video games so intensely for so long that your body is just like, okay, chill. And that's why people mess up. It's like people are hitting their limits and they're not realize they're hitting their limits because they've never like actually had to do that on a video game before and they're messing up. That's all for today. I know it's been a minute since I actually like made a video, but I just decided to finally make one because I love talking about FF. So see y'all in the next one.